Hi everybody, it's Claire from CulinaryZest.com, and I thought today I would do a really simple, easy, fast little video for you on how to cook fresh chestnuts at home. And it's really super easy, and it's something that I love to do, and this time of year, as we're heading into Christmas, is probably one of my favorite food years, just because I look forward to these little guys showing up at the store. And they're not all, generally speaking, here where I live on the east coast of Canada, they're not the cheapest things. I paid $5.99 a pound for these, and I was picky about the ones I chose. You want to be looking for nuts like that are shiny, the skin is firm. When you give them a little squeeze, the skin doesn't give, so you know that the nut meat inside is still fresh and plump. You want to look at them and see if the shell is intact. There's no markings on them. Sometimes they have insects that burrow inside them, and that's kind of nasty and stuff like that. And since they aren't the cheapest little things to buy for me and stuff, I tend to be quite picky when I choose mine, and I look for the best nuts. And yes, sometimes I pick them nut by nut, and I pick them up and I squeeze them like that just to make sure that the nut is fresh. If it's not, the skin will often give a bit. You'll hear it crack because it's brittle and it's dry, or you can shake it and you'll feel the nut inside the shell rattle. And that's just a sign that they're really old, and for my purposes, they just won't do. I generally either cook them on a gas barbecue, I cook them in a 350 degree oven, or a 350 degree convection toaster oven. And if I'm in a pinch and I want a chestnut snack really quickly and I can't be bothered to let the oven come up to temperature, I'm going to cook them in my microwave. That's fun. It's a totally different taste though. In a microwave, you're going to get more of a steaming, so you're not going to get that sort of really rich, deep, nutty taste that you would if you were doing it in an oven or on a gas barbecue. But since I can't have a gas barbecue where I am right now, oven or microwave is my only choice. So that's what we do. So whatever way you're going to end up cooking them, the first thing you're going to do is you want to take a knife, and you want to very carefully, see if I can do this so you can see it, you want to very carefully score the shell of the nut. Focusing would be great. There we go. You want to score like a little X or a cross in the nut on the flat side. And you want to make sure that you go deep enough that your blade goes through the outer shell and into the nut meat itself, so that when it's cooking, whether you're doing it in the microwave or you're going to do it in the oven, that steam has the ability to escape outside of the shell so that you don't blow this sucker up. And they do blow up on occasion, so that's depending on how many you're putting in the microwave. Maybe you put 6, 7, 8, whatever, a dozen of them. It depends on how big the nuts are and about how long it's going to take to cook them in the microwave. Usually I find in a microwave, if I'm putting like 8 or 10 of about these size nuts in, that you're going to be probably looking at least 1 minute 45 seconds. Maybe a little bit longer. It just depends. It depends on the size of your microwave as well. So experiment. Start with the lowest settings first. Move up from there. If you're going to be doing them in the oven, you're looking at 350 degrees, and you're realistically looking at about 45 minutes before they're really done. Anywhere between 30 minutes and 45 minutes tops. No less than 30 minutes. It just really depends on your oven and the size of your nuts and stuff like that. Probably test them at about 30 minutes and stuff like that, but pretty much for the most part, it's gonna take 45 minutes. That's what I find is usually the sweet spot for cooking mine. Anyway, so I'm going to finish up scoring these chestnuts, and we'll get to part 2 when they're all done. There you have it, some chestnuts freshly out of a 350 degree oven. Those were cooked for roughly 30 minutes. They might be able to go a little bit longer. Usually the skins peel back more like those. But here's a perfect example of one that exploded in the oven. So it's nothing bad. It just makes a little popping sound and stuff like that. It might startle you if you're really close to the oven or something like that, but it's no big deal. Came out, so they're super hot still. There you go. Ooh, very hot. And focus would be nice. Focus. There you go. They're nice and fluffy. And this is kind of hard to do because I literally just pulled them out of the oven. They're super hot and I am burning my fingers as we speak, but that's okay. Something from the heat in the oven, the bottoms caramelize a bit, they brown a little bit, and it has a lot of like this really deep, rich, nutty flavor to them that I really love, and that's really my favorite way to eat them. There have been times where I've had trips out to Vancouver, British Columbia in the fall, and I've been in downtown Vancouver, and I come across these guys selling freshly roasted chestnuts on the sidewalk, and you get a little brown paper bag filled with them, and they're just, oh my god, they're just so good. And I just love these suckers. I'm going to eat them right now because I just can't help myself. They're really good. So this is probably the most satisfying way to cook them at home if you don't have a gas propane barbecue, or maybe you don't want to bother going out and doing the barbecue, or the weather's bad. Maybe you don't want to go out when it's minus 40 and there's a snow blizzard out in your backyard. But I don't know. I always love doing it. And there we go. There's a better example maybe. Forget my camera to focus. There you go. So you see that sort of darkened yellow, brown, sort of caramelized, look to it and stuff like that. And that adds so much flavor, and it's really worth doing that way. That's not to say that there aren't days where I just want to get, a really nice chestnut fix and I don't want to bother turning my oven on. I'm going to throw a handful of them in the microwave, cook them that way. It's still yummy that way. You still get that chestnut hit that I love and stuff like that, but this is totally the way I prefer to eat them, is either oven roasted or roasted on a propane barbecue. So good. So, if you ever see them in the grocery store sometime and you want to try them out, that's how you do it. It's really super easy. I think they're really yummy. There's more than one way to cook them. That's how I do it, and I think they're just great. So, check them out. And if you'd like to go to culinaryzest.com, you can find one of my original posts, actually, on how to cook your chestnuts at home.